Hey guys, Chris with Headlight Revolution here, and today I've got a 2005 GMC Sierra in the shop. Now, the information I'm going to give you today is going to apply to the 1999 to 2006 model year GMC Sierra. Today we're going to outfit this thing front to back with LED everything. LED headlights from Headlight Revolution. We're doing the Supernova V3s. They are all that fit in the back of this headlight. We're going to do everything you can think of for this truck. So, let's get started. Now, I wish they made trucks like this still, as far as serviceability goes, because all you need to do to get this headlight out of this thing is just pull this tab, pull it out, set it off to the side. There's another one right here. Give it a little turn and pull it out. Now, this particular vehicle has a brush guard on it, so you got to just be a little bit careful pulling it out, but it just comes straight toward you. Spin the bulbs counterclockwise to get them out. And I'm going to show you guys something before we continue that's very, very important in your bulb selection on these vehicles. On the back side of this headlight, you can see there's some substructure here for the adjusters. It's really important to get a LED headlight bulb that fits that. It may look like there's a lot of space in there, but there's really not. In fact, even getting the stock bulb out of this thing can sometimes be a little bit of a challenge. So, do not just blindly order a bulb online and hope that it'll fit. You want to pick something that you know for sure will fit, so you don't have to do this twice. And that's why we chose the Supernova V3 for this install. They're designed with this braided heatsink on the back of it, and this thing flexes completely out of the way. It's not much deeper than a stock bulb by itself, and so if you have to pick a bulb that's going to fit in something tight like that, very good option. Even the GTR Lighting Ultra Series, as much as we love to use that bulb, just doesn't quite fit in this headlight. It does. You can make it work. But as far as making something fit easily, this is really the way to go. So, I'm going to set the headlight off to the side because we're going to be working with the turn signal and DRL bulbs first. And the nice part about that is you can just reach it from the top here. Give it a little twist. The light on the innermost side, closest to the center of the vehicle, is the DRL. Now that only comes on if the truck is running and in gear. So, in order to test it, you're going to have to put the truck in gear. Not a big deal, especially if you've got a helper. If not, set your parking brake. Make sure your parking brake works. Set your parking brake. Test your bulb. Now these are polarity specific, as are most LED bulbs, and so what that means is you can put it in backwards and it just won't work. It's not a big deal. You'll just have to take the bulb out, flip it 180 degrees, and put it back in. Now, for our turn signal, same story, just turn it counterclockwise, pop it right out. We're going to remove that. And for these, we're going to use the GTR Lighting Carbide Series bulbs. These things are insanely bright, they work well, they fit everything that a stock bulb would fit, and they just look awesome. Open that up. Once again, polarity specific. If you get this thing installed and it doesn't work, just flip it around and it should work just fine. If you're switching to LED bulbs, you're going to need resistors installed so that you don't get fast blink. It's really annoying. It's just when your blinker goes off like this, you know, you don't want that. You want it to be as stock as possible. And so what we need to do for that is pull the stock wiring back a little bit. Now on these particular bulb sockets, the wires you need are on the outside. So in this case we've got a blue, looks like it's just a solid blue, and we've got a black. And we're going to be splicing in our resistor wiring to the black and the blue. It doesn't matter which wire goes to which. We're using GTR Lighting's vehicle-specific resistor kit for this install. And on this particular truck, there's plenty of room right here, right behind this, where the orange reflector would be on the stock headlight. Plenty of room right here to go ahead and drill and install that resistor. You want it mounted to metal because these things do get awfully hot. Now, as you can see, I've got wiring coming off of this, and I'm just going to run that around this core support here so it doesn't get in the way of anything. And out to my turn signal wiring. Now all we have to do is splice this wiring in, solder it up, we're good to go. Now GTR Lighting supplies you with T-taps for this, so if you don't have a soldering iron, you're not out of luck. Just use the T-taps. We're going to solder it because we're located in Bemidji, Minnesota. The road salt causes just tremendous corrosion up here, and it really, really sucks for anything exposed, and T-taps tend to be a little bit exposed. So we're going to solder it up, tape it real nice, we won't have any problems. Once again, outside wires on the connector. In this case, we've got a blue and we've got a black. All right, I'm going to strip the wiring back on the GTR lighting resistor. And once again, if you're using the T-taps, you don't need to follow these instructions. You can just go ahead and tap those wires in and proceed on with the install. But for anyone that doesn't know what I'm doing, this is how you do it. Now, what I like to do when I get done with this is just reuse that factory loom. It provides abrasion resistance. You know, you don't want your wires getting chafed up by anything back here. So if you can, reuse that. Maybe give it a little wrap with tape just so that the wires don't pop out of it. You know, we've added some wire in there. It's a little bit thicker than it was. All right, and for the final bulb, we've got this little marker light here. It's a little T10. We've got the sweet GTR lighting crystal lens bulb for that. Now, if you ever find yourself in a position where you need a bulb like this, like a marker light or something, and you're not sure what's going to fit, the crystal lens is always a sure bet. These things fit just about anywhere that a stock 194 fits, as you can see in the packaging here. Actually, let us hold you the bulb. As you can see, awfully similar. We're talking a very, very minor size difference. So, now I'm actually going to leave this bulb out just so that I can test these things. You don't want to put everything back together and then have it not work. All right, as you can see, we've got the sweet alternating blank here, just like it worked from the factory. So you can see this is working just fine. And your DRL, like I said earlier, won't come on unless the engine's running and you're in gear. So we'll test that quick too. All right, as you can see, everything works in the front end that we just did. The only thing we have left to do is headlights. So let's get these bulbs back where they belong. The marker light on the side's kind of a funny reach, but it's not impossible. Once you pop the bulb in there and turn it clockwise to get it back where it belongs, take the turn signal, route the wiring just the way that it was when it came out. And finally the DRL. Same story, just put it back the way it was. All right, now we're doing headlights. Now this is your low beam and it's a 9006. It's on the left. Your high beam's on the inside of the vehicle. And that pops off just like so. For that, we've got the Supernova V3. Now, I'm actually going to install these into the headlight with it not in the vehicle. And the reason for that is this guy right here. This guy can be a little bit challenging sometimes, and you don't want to be doing it while it's like suspended in the vehicle. As you can see, the Supernova V3 fits with not much room. You know, technically these heat sinks should be kind of spread out a little bit, but you can only do so much. With this in the way, that's kind of where it's got to go. We've got our 9005, we're going to install in the high beam. That's all there is to it. I mean, it doesn't get any easier than that. Make those connections. Now, it's up to you if you want to zip tie these boxes somewhere where they won't get, you know, in the way or be dangling. I would strongly recommend that. Makes everything look nicer. You know, even just a couple zip ties strategically placed is always a good idea. All right, now just take these little guys here, push them through just like it was when you started, lock it into place, push it through, lock it into place. Now let's test to make sure these things work. Okay, so we have the 99 to 2006 GMC Sierra headlight on the bench today. We're about 20 feet away from our wall. And right now we're picking up a reading of 524 lux right in that center hotspot there. And as you can see, this is a pretty wide beam pattern. From the factory, it does have a pretty nice hotspot in the center though, so that should give you some decent distance lighting. And this is, like I said, this is the low beam on that headlight. Now we've got our high beam. Now this is the stock high beam, stock halogen high beam that you're gonna find in your truck from the factory. And this is an awfully focused beam. Not necessarily a bad thing. This is gonna get that light down the road. It's gonna look good on the street. And we're picking up 1620 lux. So that's 1,620 lux on this at that center, that hot spot there. Now this is really impressive. We actually got 1604 lux out of the low beam with the Supernova V3. Now that is 1,604 lux. Very impressive. If you remember the high beam reading, stock, we were at 1,620. So this is almost like a high beam as far as output, and we're talking low beam here. As you can see, compared to the original low beam pattern, it's super wide, just like it was from the factory. And then you've got that nice focused hot spot in the center that's gonna get you lighting far down the road. You're gonna see stuff like deer and signs and other obstacles that you don't wanna encounter when it's 10 feet away from your vehicle. So, very, very solid performing bulb in this headlight. The results speak for themselves. Let's see what our high beam looks like. So, the high beam produces 1,998 lux. That's impressive. The best part to me though, and something you see a lot with LED bulbs in general, is sometimes they kind of make up their own beam pattern, if you will, especially on high beam. And you get some like diffusion and shadows that weren't there with your stock bulb. And that is very much not the case with this one. This looks exactly the same. It's super clean. And I gotta say, it is like a laser. I mean, it's so centered and so bright right in the middle of that beam pattern. And we're picking up well over 300, nearly 400 additional lux compared to our original high beam. Not bad, not bad at all. Now that we've got the top part of the front of the vehicle done, we've got the headlights, the turn signals, the marker lights and everything, it's time for the fog lights. Now I'm not gonna show you how to do the fog lights on the video, and the reason for that is all you have to do is lay on the ground and reach up and just turn them out. It's just the same as what we did up here. It's just a different light down below. For those, you need the 9005 Supernova V3s. Once again, we're just keeping it the same. We're doing the Supernova on everything. It works well. This truck likes it. It projects a nice pattern in the low beam, high beam, and fog light. What's not to like? If you have any questions at all for your truck or your car or your SUV, whatever you've got, we've got answers for you. You can connect with us on our chat on our website. You can send us a Facebook message. You can send us an email. You can give us a phone call. We are Headlight Revolution. Thanks for watching.